much, Raging Gamers. Welcome to the Season 7 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, Henrik the Wreck?
I'm doing great, Chris. As always, how about yourself?
Man, everything's fantastic. Hold on to your controllers, gamers, because we got a jam-packed show for everyone that is tuning in live right now, whether you're joining us from Facebook, or do they call it Meta nowadays? Who knows? Whether it's YouTube and Twitch, thank you all. And we might as well kick off the show with a bang and start off with a lot of viral content that has been circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. So the Path of Exile 2 is crushing it for developer Grinding Gear Games, pulling in over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam because apparently everyone loves pain. And why do I say this? Because half the players still have no clue how that massive skill chart works. It's less of a skill tree and more of a skill rainforest. So good luck navigating it without a map and a PhD in pathology.
Homie, they weren't fucking lying, dude. Bro, it's like navigating the fucking solar system, dude. The fuck? That's what I've got.
Yeah, Path of Exile is one of those games, the first one also, where you could put hundreds of hours in that game and you still don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm starting to think that even when you look at that clip, is that what the congressmen and women have been reporting on when it comes to those New Jersey drones that have been circulating across the web? They might as well send this screenshot in or this video because, I mean, people can't tell the difference whether it's a star or a drone or, you know, maybe it's just kids having fun, you know, Amazon shopping that's just cluttering up the air. Or we've been looking at Path of Exile 2 skill chart up in the sky this entire time and we had no idea where they got that inspiration. But let's dive into the comments. Chill, guys. After the first 2,000 hours, you start to get it.
Exactly. Yep. That's how it is.
Yeah, it starts to feel like that in a sense. Do you stick to like one line or do you just branch out from the grid?
Oh, you'll branch out, but it's going to take you going through multiple characters, honestly.
I can see that. Plus 0.0005 health and plus 0.005 movement speed. Fantastic. I just love games that give you the, you know, just the upty when you go and face those boss battles and last. But in the end, someone will publish a few of the quote unquote best builds and everyone will strictly follow that. I mean,
yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That is how that game just goes, you know, like honestly, you could spend the time to figure it out, but if you just want to get in there, you just got to wait for people to figure it out for you.
Yeah, that's like Elden Ring for you, right? And that's going to be the same effect when Elden Ring Night Rain comes through. Because now they're saying you can play it solo or in trios, no duos. So you better find an extra friend. Hey, but let's go into the next one because Call of Duty Black Ops 6 smashed records with the highest day one players. And for the first time since 2014, it's most popular on Xbox, but Activision keeps promising gritty war zones, but instead we get raccoon skins, shark suits, and kill animations straight out of a meme factory. And it's clear the only thing real is how much money these cosmetics rake in. So what's next? You won't believe it, gamers. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
If you wanted unicorns in this game, somehow now you got it.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of ironic that, you know, we were going to show this clip, you know, ever since our pre-production meeting on Monday, and then all of a sudden we got a new trailer out with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, like The Death of a Unicorn. I'm probably butchering the movie title, but like, what's the irony? Was this supposed to be a DLC for that movie all along, and we just kind of reined in on the party? Because it's not totally confirmed. That was kind of like a little leaked information, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever want to be exposed or abused with a clip of me being farted on by a unicorn in Black Ops 6. That's just me. But let's go into the comments. Military Sims fans just fell to their knees. Yeah, you know, people just, I guess you're going to have to play Delta Force. You know,
yeah, I mean, you know, where's my realism, Chris? I needed to be realistic.
Yeah, it's long gone. I mean, ever since they had all that like sliding going around, I mean, what did people expect? Come on, face scope. And then the next one goes, why is Call of Duty trying to be Fortnite? Yeah, it really does feel like that as more IPs of the Modern Warfare series keep coming out.
All the collaborations.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of them are pretty dope, but after a while, it's starting to become like, just fix the overall gameplay experience. Like Nadeshot just called out Black Ops 6 recently. Like, he loves the style of the gameplay, but it's just the servers are broken, ticks. Just like even the hit shot is just misses the mark at times. It's unfortunate. And the last comment, probably a bad position to be in next to this finishing move. Yeah, I mean, of course, right?
Definitely.
But, it's not just there at Call of Duty where people are starting to struggle with. It's also OG Fortnite builders who are basically the architects of chaos, cranking out skyscrapers in seconds while the rest of us fumble to build a single wall. And it's no wonder new players get frustrated with, how do you even compete against someone who builds an entire apartment complex before you even find a shotgun, right? Everybody wants that double pump. You ain't getting the chance. But even streamers like Jinxie get starstruck watching these sweats from Fortnite turn into like Bob the Builder Esports Edition. Like, no one knows what the hell is going on. I prefer it with build on. Zero builds very scarce. We've already got over this, but like, has anybody ever seen such an origami display like Jinxie just witnessed? Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Bro, what
happened?
What is that, bro?
Wait, bro, Wait, what just happened?
He said, you know what? It's not even worth me trying at this point.
Yeah,
I know who I'm up against.
Did you hear Jinx at the end? He's like, I'm off. Like, he's got to go back to
Yeah.
his Rainbow Six Siege. He's got to keep it really basic. It really is intense out there for us gamers. There are either absolute sweats or newbies. There's no in between. So what does it sound like, Henrik the Wreck?
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a skill issue. It's not for everybody. Nah, but who wicked enough to build that type of ramp rush? That's true. They did change a little bit of like how to build. I forgot what they're calling it right now, but like making it easier to be able to kind of pull up the walls in seconds, or even kind of form the formation. Did you see anything about that, Henrik?
I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you've been so far away from the game. I wouldn't return anytime soon because you're going to be dog wet and flop like a fish. And the last one is my honest reaction. That would probably be Henrik joining me in duos, which you probably don't want to see us both playing together anytime
The last
soon.
time I played Fortnite, it was no build because of that exact reason.
Yeah, I know. I hate to carry the team for us. I know. I understand it's a skill issue for you, Henrik. I'm just playing. But you know what? We just want to take a moment during our Season 7 finale. For anyone that hasn't liked, shared, subscribed, or hit the notification bell, go ahead and scan my QR code. That will take you to my YouTube channel where I'm always cooking up spicy things, spicy content. You know it. A lot of good things planned for the new year, so come along for the ride.
And yeah, go ahead and scan that QR code right there on your screen. It'll lead you to my YouTube channel. You'll find great content from a variety of different genres there. So go check it out and stay tuned for the new year as new things come along.
Oh, hell yeah, man. But we are only just beginning right now. So are you ready to rock and roll, Henrik the Wreck?
Oh yeah, it's time to talk about a game, and let's find out.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Balatro. Made by one developer, Local Thunk, this game was even nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Despite not winning that, it did win other categories like Best Indie Game. So with that in mind, let's go over the gameplay and see what made it stand out. The gameplay of Balatro is poker with some extra steps. Think of the game as a poker roguelike deck builder. You start a run, and your goal is a total hand value that you need to hit to progress to the next level. The value of each hand is determined by the poker set that you play, as well as modifiers in the form of joker cards that give bonuses like extra multipliers for certain hands, as well as tarot cards that modify the cards themselves. You can hold 6 jokers and 2 tarot cards at a time, and using using them, you'll have to meet your chip goals within the set amount of hands and discards. So the gameplay is simple enough, right? Well, not only does the goal go up in each stage, but when you reach the boss blinds, they have an ability which you can prepare for. Typically, the ability is something along the lines of, the heart suite is debuffed and doesn't give any points. Altogether, the game is simple yet addictive, simply due to the nature of it being a game that is easy to get into and gives you hits of dopamine in just the right ways. So is there any story? Simply put, no. I mean, can you really expect a poker game to have a story? Its focus is definitely just on the gameplay and that's it. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
Is it time to go to the casino? I think it is, except there's a bonus here. You don't have to worry about your money being lost.
Yeah, ain't that right? There's no DLC packs, nothing of that kind of nature, even though it is rated 18 plus. I'm sure we'll be talking about that at one point during this pause or repeat. But, you know, get ready to shuffle up and hustle in Balatro, the game that proves poker isn't just for those smoky back rooms and dodgy casinos anymore. To me, Henrik, it felt like as if solitaire and poker eloped in a Windows 98 themed chapel and invited every adrenaline-fueled combo mechanic as a guest, and you add in some of those nostalgic vibes, the perfect pacing, and a soundtrack that slaps, and you've got Balatro. What would you make of this game?
Well, you could definitely see that this is a game made by one guy, and not in a bad way, but it's one guy who was just like, you know what? I want to make a game that me and my friends want to play, and I'm going to make it good. So good, in fact, that 20 minutes in this game turns into 2 hours, which eventually then turns into 5 hours. And before you know it, you've spent your whole day playing the game. This is how this game goes for people. It's like you get into it, you do a run, and then you're like, you know what, one more.
Yeah.
And one more turns into 5.
Yeah, no, it's so true, man. This isn't your grandpa's poker night. Balatro fuses those timeless charm of poker with its strategic deck building, creating the gameplay that as nostalgic as it is chaotic. Trust me, it very much is. And it allows you to pull off combos so outrageous they might get you banned at your local casino. So forget Vegas. This poker is on steroids. And you might be wondering, like,
at the same time, the simplicity helps you with getting into the game.
Yeah, that's so true.
I think a lot of people already know what poker is.
Yeah,
if you don't,
again,
there's
like
a little cheat sheet.
Yeah, but there are also some people that just never wanted to get into poker. And, you know, maybe this might be the opportunity to be able to kind of teach you some of the basic stuffs like a straight and a flush. But, you know, your goal in the end is to outwit those shady blinds, uncover secret hands, and rake in chips like you're funding the next Ocean's 11 movie. It's really, really cool. There's almost every trick in the book. You got jokers, tarot cards, planet cards, spectral cards, and even something called vouchers. And not that kind that you get like the free fries, nothing like that. But they are these cool tools that aren't just cool, but they're the key to setting off those combo chains. And you might be wondering, am I actually playing poker or summoning an eldritch god? I have no idea. But there is so much jam-packed into this game. You know, you got over 150 jokers, each with their own unique abilities to keep you guessing or stressing. And there's over 15 decks with distinct modifiers to choose from. I think that's really, really cool, Henrik. And on top of it, with those 150 jokers that you thought wasn't enough, well, each one has 5 variants to pile on, even more unpredictability. So it's definitely a very refreshing take on a card game, which I feel like, you know, I kept joking all year. I'm like, is it better than solitaire? You're damn right, it's better than solitaire.
Oh yeah, easily. And I, honestly, just like any roguelike, the fact that there's so many variables to each run is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Your friend is not going to have a similar experience to you outside of, hey, this game's actually pretty fun. That's really the underlying factor here. But, you know, maybe he had a little bit of struggle fighting one blind, whereas you went through your whole entire run, no issues, and maybe then the next run you have an issue in round 2. You never know. It's just sort of game where there's just so many variables that factor into your success. But at the end of the day, if you're smart about things, you're going to be successful regardless. It's not trying to like jab you with a knife and twist it. You're just there to have fun, really.
Yeah.
But I have a question, Chris. Do you really think that this was worthy of Game of the Year?
Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit of a stretch, but I do feel like it definitely should have been highlighted. I mean, as you're going right on into it, it did become the third ever indie game to be nominated for the Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It did snag Best Debut Indie Game, Best Independent Game, and Best Mobile Game. Yeah, after, playing this game, it did kind of feel like a bit of a stretch, to be Game of the Year, but I think it was also being recognized because it was developed by one person, and that is truly remarkable. And it did kind of revolutionize the whole idea about what card games means moving forward. And let's not forget, they did win, Best Mobile Game. And this game, when it first got dropped in February, wasn't on any mobile devices. And actually, I feel like it plays better on the mobile devices. Matter of fact, it's only like $10. And so it's an amazing ride. And, I think it's fantastic. It's available essentially everywhere. Yes, Nintendo Switch fans, you actually have a game, a Game of the Year contender that you can check out, in the year 2024. Because basically, is like, to me, Henrik, right now, Balatro is like the Meryl Streep of card games. And now it's everywhere, right? The Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and mobile devices. But, I still gotta have to take a moment. Balatro, right after, the Game Awards, got slapped by the PEGI rating system for 18 plus. It's a system that is used in Europe, the UK, and the Middle East by pointing out the absurdity, that some games are loaded with microtransactions, but, this game doesn't have any of that. But, there are games like, I don't know, let's think of what he was thinking about. EAFC or EA Sports FC 25 with their deceptive, FUT player cards. I mean, we all know what that's all about. It's no different than loot boxes. So, like, how is that rated 3+ for everyone? But the fact that it's got a little bit of poker elements, like a straight and a flush added into the game, that's where we draw the line. To me, Henrik, that's like, it's such an ass backwards comparison. It's like that same argument where they go, send your kids to war at 18, but God forbid, poker is where we draw the line. You know what I mean?
Same idea as if, like, all of a sudden Solitaire, you brought it up. Do you think that that's an 18+ game all of a sudden just because you have cards in it? Like,
well, it's the fact that they added like the the chips. You're going up
and
against.
You could easily do that with any card game.
True.
Solitaire, or even just playing blackjack by yourself. Against an NPC. It's not an 18+ experience, really.
Well, it sounds like
if you're gonna give them that rating, then you might as well give the games with loot boxes and things that are predatory, like going to a casino. Because what's the difference really of opening up a loot box rather than, doing slot machines? It's the same thing.
It's exactly
There's a chance as to whether or not you'll get something.
Maybe we need to shuffle the priorities here because it absolutely doesn't make any sense. But that can't take away from the awards that, Balatro ended up winning in the end, and I think it's a fantastic game. I'm gonna say it's a repeat. You guys are definitely gonna want to download it on your mobile phones. I'm not much of a mobile gamer, but I had a fun time playing this video game, and I know you will as well out there. But Henrik, I'm curious on what the verdict is for you.
This is a definite repeat, and I recommend it, actually, even beyond that, to anyone who is looking for a game to just hop in, play a little bit or a lot, and then hop out of it. Like you said, it's available on mobile. So I think that actually might be a really enticing option to a lot of people. If you're waiting at the doctor's office or you're waiting for an appointment of some sort, just whip out some Balatro. The time will go by so quick.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a fantastic game, and I think you guys will enjoy, this new approach to, I keep joking, a Windows 98 solitaire style of game mixed in with the little poker elements. But we want to know from you gamers, are you playing it right now? Have you never heard of this game? Let us know what's good. But hey, Henrik the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll? Because we got a whole left of, tons of topics to discuss. So are you ready to cook things up?
Oh yeah, it's the end of the year almost, so let's get cooking, all right?
Hey, let's get it, baby. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host Henrik the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. 2025 is looking like the gaming industry's version of a New Year's resolution, full of ambition, a little mystery, and potentially to widely overachieve or hilariously under deliver. Yeah, you heard it. Nintendo is expected to release the Switch's successor, hopefully with enough horsepower to run games, while Sony keeps justifying the PS5 Pro's luxury pricing with ultra optimized games. Okay. And meanwhile, Microsoft will either fire back with an upgraded Xbox Series XS or keep ghosting the console wars entirely to bet on everything on cloud gaming. So, like, who needs hardware when you've got the cloud, right? I mean, is that what they're thinking? But in the end, on the games front, expect a mix of exciting new IPs and sequels so late they've got fashionably delayed down to an art. Let's hope for more hits than bugs. So to hype up this train that's coming along for the year 2025 is Grand Theft Auto 6, which is completely off the charts thanks to the decade-long success of GTA 5, which has kept Rockstar afloat since 2013. The new game returns to Vice City, GTA's take on Miami, and teases dual protagonists that fans think are inspired by Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. So safe to say, the wait has been long, but expectations couldn't be higher. So if you haven't seen the trailer or cinematic trailer, can't be gameplay, let's go ahead and take a look.
Imagine a world where this game doesn't do well. I can't. I really can't.
No.
Because there is so much hype about it that not only is it just going to be the only thing people talk about around its release, but really Rockstar has to hit it out of the park. Because if they don't, people are just going to lose trust in that studio entirely.
Yeah, if it comes across like extremely buggy with its online gameplay, then yeah, it's gonna take a massive hit in the beginning. But I don't think it will last entirely long, because if the map is fantastic, as you know, insider reports and certain leaks keep coming out throughout, you know, all of 2024, then yeah, you know, there's a lot of things promising about this game. And in fact, oh, okay, we got a comment here. Expectations are extremely high. Last time GTA did a big update on GTA Online, even the government shut down. Yeah, I mean, that is so entirely true, but I mean, just jumping back into GTA Online feels fantastic. It's still a whole lot of fun to play, and I feel like, you know, if you want to feel like the hype is getting realer and realer, just go back to GTA. Go play the GTA 5 online experience. It's gotten a little bit better, and I think what's really nice about GTA 2 is it's like, yeah, it's an 18 plus game, you know, it's rated M for mature, but you know, you don't have to necessarily go on heist, you don't have to go on, you know, combat missions. There's a lot of racing that's in it. You remember there's tennis, there's golf. I mean, could you imagine all those extracurricular activities that are going to be introduced, something new inside GTA 6? That's what to me is so promising, and I love the addition that they brought to GTA 5, especially for the online presence with the casino. So if they can bring that kind of element along with it, that would be really, really cool.
Oh, easily. Yeah, and I personally also have high expectations for the game. I know it's going to be great. I'm not necessarily all the way on the hype, but I'm there on the hype for sure.
Do you think any old character from the GTA IP will make a return in GTA 6?
They easily could do that, yeah. And I feel like they have a good chance of doing that, considering they're going back to Vice City.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we kind of find out in GTA Online that like Lester retires and goes away to his dream spot. Just saying. So we're going to have to see what's good. But with the calendar packed full of AAA heavyweights, new IPs like Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 can struggle to stand out. But this one, I'm telling you, gamers, is worth your attention. Inspired by Persona and Final Fantasy, the creative team proudly wears those influences on their sleeves. So if you're an RPG fan, Expedition 33 should already be on your radar. I love this game. Henrik has been hyping this up to me for a very long time behind the scenes, so I am very pleased and excited to show you guys a first look with Expedition 33.
if you're a Final Fantasy fan and you like the action combat that they've been doing, but you've been yearning for them to go back to the old formula, just with a modern take, this is exactly the game for you.
Yeah. You took the words right out of me. Yeah.
Look at that gameplay.
No, it's so true. And like you even look at that gameplay right there and you would swear it's from a AAA budget, but believe it or not, the development team only includes about 30 people. So that's really incredible to see. They got gorgeous steals. The trailers look great. I'm expecting, potential game of the year. It looks really, really well done. And we are desperate for new IP. I'm so sick and tired of remasters and remakes. So like, guys,
looking
I'm
at
telling
you, Naughty
girls,
Dog.
I'm looking at you. Oh, trust me, we're gonna have something to say later on. But this is definitely a game you do not want to miss. And also another game that I'm very excited about is let's kind of break it down because Marvel games have been on a roll with hits like Spider-Man, the underrated Midnight Suns, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, which redeemed a lot of the Avengers missteps. Now, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is set to keep the streak alive, bringing an action-packed adventure with 4 playable characters. That's right, you heard it right. 4 playable characters. You get to play alongside Captain America, not alongside, you get to actually play as them. Captain America, Black Panther, Gabe Jones, and Wakandan spy Nanalia. Set during World War II, it promises to deliver Marvel's best storytelling outside the MCU.
Speaking of Naughty Dog, old school Naughty Dog, maybe not Crash Bandicoot, but I'm talking Uncharted. Amy Hennig,
Yes.
the writer who is so involved with those games, guess what? She's involved with this one.
Well, writer and director.
A little bit of that in there with this one.
Yeah, writer and director of the first 3 Uncharted games. So yeah, I mean, this game has been hyped since 2020. It feels like it's long overdue. I feel like if they keep delaying this, then I'm gonna start to panic a little bit. But like it looks fantastic. I feel like we've all been wanting to play an open world game of Captain America for a very long time, and obviously our rising star in Black Panther. And I do think it is refreshing to have 2 extra characters that we might not always be familiar with, right? Like Gabe Jones and Wakandan spy Nanalia. So that is very, very cool. Very Trick Daddy. I can't wait to see 2 of our favorite heroes go at it with each other. Why are they going at it with each other? I have no idea, but clearly the Rise of Hydra has something to do with it. So if you're as excited as I am, you definitely want to follow their YouTube channel to be on the lookout for when they're going to be revealing this release date. No one has any indication of like what devices it's going to be showing up on. I have a feeling it's going to be like a PS5 game. Will it show up on the Nintendo Switch too? We'll see. Do you think they're going to skip the PC?
Be the usual suspects, the PS5, Xbox, PC. That's what I'm getting as a vibe from it personally.
Yeah, go to the consoles first. Because, you kind of hear more stories over the years where they don't like to drop it on PC first because they just hate when people start adding mods to it that like improve the gameplay experience. So they're like, let's start off with the console first, let people get married to it, and then if they want to start critiquing it 6 months down the road, by all means, go with it. But, these are definitely games you want to definitely check out. But is there a game that we're completely missing in the year 2025 that you're like, yo, Henrik the Wreck and Chris Collins, you guys are completely missing the mark? This is the game. Comment below. We want to hear your guys' and gals' thoughts. But let's go ahead and break it down into our next topic of conversation. So, Henrik the Wreck, let's get it.
Speaking of Naughty Dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Naughty Dog's got a new game, and it's called Intergalactic The Heretic Prophet. It's coming soon, as they say. Soon could be whenever. And it's set in a sci-fi universe where the protagonist spends her day watching retro anime and popping in a cassette tape before heading out on a space adventure. Well, critics are already calling their character design too woke, and some even compared it to Concord, the Sony game that bombed so hard it was pulled offline faster than you can rewind a cassette tape.
Yeah, has anybody actually tried that? I'm talking to you, Gen Z.
Yeah, it takes a while, all right?
Yes.
I grew up with that. Anyways, looks like this space journey might need a better mixtape.
Okay, hold up, Henrik. I gotta throw this up
Yeah,
because Zacho Man Gamer's got a lot of things to
Yeah.
say. And he's like, Henrik, we fighting. If you diss Naughty Dog too hard, that's my childhood. But you know what, Zacho Man Gaming? Some of those people that were a part of your childhood are not a part of Naughty Dog anymore. So, like, doesn't that kind of get annoying when you see trailers like that, Henrik? When, you know, especially when they hyped it up at the Game Awards, they're like, the people
You
that
know
made
what,
you Crash
Chris?
Bandicoot, they were not there when they made Crash Bandicoot.
I gotta interject
golly.
then, Chris. I was watching the Game Awards at work. Okay. A lot of people around me, they had to go do other things, you know, because we were still busy. We were open.
Yeah.
But I grabbed one of my coworkers. I'm like, yo, look. Naughty Dog's coming out with something. Both him and I, as we were watching the trailer, were like, yo, this looks like it could be really, really sick. And then I see all the comments online of people saying like, this is Naughty Dog going down woke land. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
we don't even know what it's about.
Well, that's true. I mean, but that's why it's so problematic to drop cinematic trailers and not actually show some gameplay. And I think that's why gamers reacted to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet teaser with the following. So let's go ahead and dive into those comments. So I got the first one right here. I feel like Will Smith will slap me for making fun of her. Yeah. You know, you got to be that's hilarious, dude. You do not want to push it with Will Smith. The next one we got here is they sell hair as a separate DLC. Yeah, you know, I think that's a fair point. You know, if you want to be able to promote the PS5 Pro, you know, you don't want to butcher it on day one when they can't do the graphics well with the luscious hair.
One of those macro transactions, like they're going to take a page out of Activision Blizzard's handbook and sell it for $60. Or
the next one we got here is the trailer's 2 hours ago. Ew, it's so old. We need a remaster. Yeah, you know, which is funny because this is like their fourth, you know, franchise now for Naughty Dog. You know, they've been doing a lot of remakes, remasters, and, you know, I'm so blessed that they're finally leaving it. But some people are like, you know what? I think we were better off just having Naughty Dog revisit some of their classic IPs. But let's go into a new one. Quote, from the studio who brought you Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, and Uncharted, end quote. Nice. Now, how many of they still work there? Exactly the point that I was trying to raise with one of our fellow gamers tuning on in. It's just, I hate when they do that. You know, you can't go that far back in time and really expect that those same people are still working on, you know, this iconic studio. But, you know, then again, you know, we don't have gameplay. We don't know if it's a dud or not, but this is just reactions that have been surfacing online. And we also got, you can tell this started production in 2020. You know, I relate to this comment because, you know, my first reaction was the most recent Alien movie. Didn't we just have a girl like this? It seems like everybody that's in space turns into a bald-headed lesbian. That's what they come across as.
Maybe that's just the meta for haircuts in the space age. You know, you don't have to do as much maintenance on it when you're up in space. But it's actually maybe just a really practical haircut.
But like, I don't care like what you are sexuality wise, but it is, I think, something to point out that, you know, I did see a meme the other day that was like pointing this out with Sony in particular. Like they really kind of been pushing for a lot of female characters, but they do always kind of come across as like trying to push an agenda, like a political agenda. You know, like you got the Ratchet and Clank games where you got a cartoon, you know, LGBTQ person, right? You also got Alloy, who has also been questioned in the past, you know, with this. Now you got this. You also got The Last of Us, you know. So like people are kind of wondering,
even
like
Disney is sometimes
Yeah,
Victim
bold,
of that,
woke,
apparently.
and gay sounds like a Disney remake. Yeah, I mean, maybe some of those same people that work for Disney are now working with Naughty Dog. We
Yeah,
do not know.
potentially.
So let's go ahead and check out the last comment, which says this game is going to make concordillion dollars, which in crypto means nothing. Did you see Scotty Scheffler's reaction when they were doing that whole TNT matchup with Brooks Koepka
I did
and
not.
Bryson DeChambeau? It was Rory McIlroy versus Scotty Scheffler. They get rewarded $10 million in crypto, and like Scotty's like, cool. Cordillion dollars. That's the approach that I'm getting from that mindset. It's like, where do these dollar bills come up from? But anyways, back to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. They dropped, the reactions were less than stellar. But what's the deal with Naughty Dog turning off the comments on their YouTube channel like they were like thinking that was not going to stir the pot, while Sony just lets their trailer comments run wild like it was an open mic night? But was that a smart move to try to dodge the fire, or should they just been, saving us from a dumpster fire by just allowing it to open up?
It's a little bit of the Streisand effect, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, viewers, it's the whole idea that when you start to tell people, don't do this thing, they'll start to do it more. And maybe in this case, they could take it as a little bit of just like free marketing, because, we're talking about it. People are talking about it online. What would be a big shakeup right now would be them saying, maybe not right away because they'd have to work on this probably, but them saying maybe a month from now, hey, by the way, guys, we redesigned the character. Oh, wow. Look at how many people would be so supposedly happy about it. But here's the trick. I don't think those people would be happy. They'd be just still upset that it happened in the first place.
Well, I definitely do feel like they do need to go back and do a character design update because, quite frankly, when you find out who the person that is playing the game's lead, Jordan A. Munn, who is played by Tati Gabriel, why is she so light-skinned in the video game?
That's
trailer?
True.
And she's a little bit darker in skin. You can have a problem with the hair design, but like, don't we always have these conversations all the time when it comes to, cartoons in general or just in cinematics? And so I don't know. To me, I kind of felt like that was a little strange, but like now it's all starting to make sense that she became the main lead, because you guys might recognize Tati Gabriel from the Netflix series You and other shows. And she was also one of the villains in the Uncharted movie, which I freaking can't stand, but that's beyond that. And she also, oh yeah, absolutely my favorite. Highly don't recommend. But anyways, she does have a role in season 2 of The Last of Us on HBO as well. So her ties to Naughty Dog clearly run deep. But it wasn't just, the character design that was kind of getting the whole too woke approach. It was also being likened to the recent Sony failure of Concord, because people just felt like they couldn't relate to what they were trying to push. And also, they kind of fell into that trap with what Death Stranding was being accused with Hideo Kojima, when he also, introduced, Monster Energy drinks into the game. And you're like, wait,
product placement. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because I don't know about you, Henrik. It was, you could have the whole shaved head thing. And yeah, that could seriously cut down the whole processing power for the workload on the PS5 Pro, which I thought I was paying to be able to deliver, but clearly can't. This is what that trailer's telling me. But,
they just said, hey, we're being funded by these companies, so go buy something from them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because, another reason this trailer is controversial is all the product placement for brands like Porsche, Adidas, and to a lesser degree, for obvious reasons, Sony, right? So, they're showing up on the screen. You also got the cassettes rolling in. We just have to kind of wait. I thought, towards the end of that trailer, when you start to see that enemy and you're like, ooh, this is going down. This kind of gave me kind of that like Star Wars Fallen Order kind of vibes. And
that is exactly what I was thinking too, actually.
Right. And then if you notice in the clip, she's got on her holster a gun as well. So it's not just going to be like sword wielding gameplay. You're also going to get a mix of both. And so we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. There are rumors that it's not going to be very much open world. There is no space combat. So if those rumors are true, that is a very interesting, choice by Naughty Dog to showcase her in the spaceship first, instead of actually showing what the overall gameplay is going to look like, if that's truly the case. But hey, I mean, are you guys vibing with this? Do you think this is going to be a pretty cool post-apocalyptic world kind of style of game, all set in space? Or are you guys kind of over it? I mean, have we seen too many space games become duds? Let us know what's good. It can't be Starfield, right?
Starfield.
Exactly. But hey, are you ready to move on to the next topic of conversation, Henrik?
Absolutely. So let us know what's good, Chris.
Yeah, I really like this conversation that really kind of got started by IGN, so really going to give them some credit. But let's set up the context, because when Steven Spielberg and George Lucas first unleashed Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark back in 1981, they probably didn't envision a 40-year legacy of whips, hats, and ancient artifacts. And after Harrison Ford hung up his fedora in The Last Crusade, it took 15 years, a Disney buyout, and a lot of CGI de-aging for Indy to come back for the Dial of Destiny, where Ford, at nearly 80 years old, was still cracking the whip, but not without stretching the audience disbelief. And so Disney tried to milk the nostalgia with the return of Nazis, which we all love seeing Indiana Jones whoop a whoop ass on some Nazis. You know, that's always my favorite thing about that franchise. Yep. But barely a year later, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has proven there's still life in the old Henry Jones Jr. So here's a thought. Could video games be the new lifeline for franchises that have struggled to stay relevant in cinemas? And gamers reacted to this with the following. So let's go ahead and check out the first comment. We need James Bond games with the style.
Yes.
You know,
yes, 100% to this comment.
I feel like the last James
bring
Bond
back GoldenEye, but for the modern era.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it was called, but I feel like the last James Bond game I played was on the GameCube. That's how far back it's been.
I was probably like a Nightfire or something.
I can't even remember. Someone in the chat, let us know what's good. Let's go into the next comment. I'm glad they included the classic indie punch sound effects after not seeing it in the previews. Nothing says punching a bad guy like smacking the backside of a water buffalo. So all those key elements for old school fans are being introduced to a new audience of gamers who might have not even seen the classic movies. And, and that might even pique their interest to even want to tune in and see the OG himself, Harrison Ford.
Those movies did come out a very, very long time ago by movie standards.
Yeah, I know. It always kind of breaks my heart sometimes when I'm talking to my nephews and nieces and they just don't really care for Star Wars as much. I'm like, oh. And I kind of get it at times. I mean, when I was growing up, I wasn't totally crazy about Star Wars, but as I kind of got older, I really liked it. I'm also having some fun with Skeleton Crew. So, there's definitely those kind of elements that feel like it can revolutionize, a dead IP. Remember those comparing this game to Uncharted or Tomb Raider or criticizing the gameplay? Likely haven't seen the original movies. Indiana Jones never had extreme movements of Drake or Lara, and the action sequences in the films aren't as over the top as those games. Machine Games and Bethesda are staying true to the character and world. Yeah, that was actually, I thought was quite the plus. They didn't try to make this like over the top Max Payne Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful too. And I think, being able to kind of walk and, I love the idea that they kept it first person instead of going into the third person route, because when you get to be in first person, especially when you're looking up at the big pyramids, when you're standing in Egypt in the game, you really do feel like an architect. You really do feel like you're at that location.
You get the scale of everything.
Exactly. Taking it all in, unlike what you wouldn't get from a third-person perspective. This voice actor is incredible. I swear that's prime Harrison Ford, laughing out loud. Yeah, what do you make of Troy Baker's performance? I think it's pretty pitch
he does
perfect.
great. I mean, he does great in everything that he does, but he does a very good job in this as well of just, like this comment is saying, portraying Harrison Ford when he was younger.
Yeah, so true, man. And some of the people who developed the Chronicles of Riddick escaped from Butcher Bay now work at Machine Games. No wonder they're so skilled at creating cinematic video game experiences. So some people feel like certain studios can really nail down, what makes these movies so great and introduce that into a video game spectrum, and then others, might miss the bar. And let's go into the last comment, which says the following. It's a shame the last couple movies couldn't have been this good. Machine Games makes great game. So yeah, clearly people are very excited for what they have brought. But like Henrik, can video games become the cinematic CPR for dead franchises? And are they just the equivalent of trying to bring back the Matrix with the VR headset?
No. VR gaming would be an entirely different thing, I feel like. And it definitely is an opportunity because, like you were saying, a lot of the newer generation of gamers, you know, teenagers essentially, that demographic, they may not have ever seen the Indiana Jones films. And if they see this game is intriguing to them and they play it, well, guess what? Now you know what the Indiana Jones movies are all about. And you can go watch them and be like, hey, I actually played that part in the game. That's really cool.
Yeah, especially the open tutorial of the game. Oh, just
where it does a shot-for-shot recreation.
I know.
Yeah.
I even made a joke. I was like, yeah, you probably won't be getting chased by a giant rock boulder anytime soon. Newsflash, they nailed it so freaking good. It definitely brings a lot of joy to me. But like also, Indiana Jones' influence can most keenly be felt not in movies but in video games, with the most obvious examples being highlighted from Tomb Raider and the Uncharted games. But for instance, the Great Circle is able to return to the series to its 1930s roots thanks to being free from the constraints of an aging lead actor. It was really cool during the Game Awards to see Harrison Ford make an appearance, give the kudos to Troy Baker, and rightfully so, keeping that franchise alive. I think it's a very, very cool thing to keep the younger generations involved, because they didn't quite get to experience that opportunity. I was a 93 baby. I wasn't born in the 81, but at least I was able to ride along with it. But as we get older, I mean, these are those kind of series where you don't want to see them get recasted, right? And so to keep them from not being recasted, you bring them into video games, and that's why I think it works really, really well. And also, like we highlighted, the level designs are also very, very cool, but also evoking the movies is the game's approach to the violence, right? I think they did a fantastic job not trying to copy something like Uncharted. I think that's really cool. Also got to take into account, remember last year, RoboCop Rogue City breathed a new life into that series, and so what would you like to see? I think it's the real question. A lot of times I always hear the Die Hard series get popped up year after year. Would you want to see a Die Hard happen?
That'd be really interesting, because we haven't seen Bruce Willis in anything. I know because he's got a physical issue in his old age now, but that'd be really cool if they did something like they did with Bruce Willis, where they bring him to life in a video game format to, in a way, immortalize his performance in that series.
But we're also seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger walk all over the streets of New York. I guess he's filming for a new Santa Claus movie that's going to be dropping in the next year or two. But like, what about Terminator? I mean, I think Terminator's never actually had his own story, and I would want to see it not be open world. You know what I mean? If it was built like Uncharted, that would be extremely badass, and it would, and maybe they can implement a little bit of a Christian Bale's character that they kind of butchered. That could have been a fantastic movie. But sometimes I always watch that movie and go, gosh, what if this was actual video game? That would be cool.
The thing about that series is that after coming off of seeing the later ones, and you go back to seeing Salvation, that one you're talking about, like, you know what? Salvation actually had something going for it. The later ones, they struggle a bit.
They try to bring back, returning actress, and you're just like, I think we've all lost interest at that point. But again, that's why the question is being raised. Do you believe video games is a great place for dead movie franchises to pursue? And what would be that movie that you would like to see become a video game? Let us know what's good. But I think it's time for us to have a little bit of fun, Henrik, towards the end of our season 7 finale. So let's get it.
Yes, time to end it off. And here we go again with another Reddit debate that's basically a support group for gamers in denial.
Yes, it is.
A brave soul asks the following: what game did you pour thousands of hours into just to quit one day, and why? Naturally, the comments flood in with stories of burnout, broken controllers, and that one boss fight that still haunts them. Souls-like games.
My Final Fantasy, golly.
Well, Well, gamers sure know how to turn quitting into an art form when they share their thoughts on Reddit with the following comments.
Yo, yes, they did, Henrik. Let's go right on into it. World of Warcraft, and
Yes.
what got me to quit? I got a job. I lost interest in when I couldn't play absurd amounts anymore. Old PvP rankings were brutal. I mean, you were just right out there. Yes, what was it about it?
Well, I'll go into it a little more, but there were some changes in the game that I didn't like, and well, now there's more reasons why I wouldn't want to go back. But at the time that I left WoW in the dust, it was because of the changes they made.
But I love this follow-up comment. I mean, I remember I was 25 and Mist of Pandaria just hit. My old guild broke up and I was determined to get back into the fold of raiding. I was applying to guilds left and right and doing interviews, and I realized I was putting more time and energy into finding a guild than I did to find a career. It was awful. I mean, who the hell is doing interviews for guilds?
No,
First off,
legitimately,
like,
that is how it is when you're running a guild in that game.
That is not gaming. Come on, man. Like, we're supposed to be escaping from reality.
This is why some employers have come out and said, you know what, I actually wouldn't mind hiring someone who was a WoW addict because they have a lot of skills that you wouldn't get in some other games and even in real life.
Oh, now they're going to start saying that 20 years from now. Wow, this person really put on a great Discord server. Perfect for my team. For me, it was Pokemon Go. I played obsessively and put a lot of money into the game. Ultimately, Niantic's move away from the pandemic era bonuses that were promised to be permanent killed, my desire to put any more energy into the game. Every update they've put out since has only solidified my choice, especially now that I'm more than a year out of date with my collection. What, you haven't showed up to your local Mickey D's? They just turned those into a Pokemon gym battle for you.
Hey,
are you sure you don't want to go back?
Has not been the same since that summer when everyone was just out and about playing the game. And me, I was stuck in a court case the entire time.
I do remember that. That is brutal, my man.
Jury duty.
Or, everybody's taking on the new Pokemon trading card game. I mean, I feel like everybody's going back to that kind of style and nostalgia. And who knows? Maybe some people kind of got butthurt when they found out that, you were actually giving consent to Niantic to be able to use your data to be able to build their geolocator AI tool, to map out the world. And, that is a conversation for another day, but if you guys want to look it up, gamers, go ahead and do it during your free time. Sims 3 was pouring so much time into my sim until one day I realized, what the hell am I doing? I'm making the Sims life better than mine. And then we also got a follow-up by Noob Sadbot's grandma. What? I love that name. But that reminds me of a few people hanging out at a friend's house and watching him make Sims of us and having them do stuff instead of us actually going and doing something. He did an insane job with my likeness in the game, though, so that was funny. I mean, do people do that still?
I guess they do.
I guess so. EVE Online, the developers made a stupid decisions making it harder to play solo. At some point, all my goals got accomplished. I mined and built my own super cap and lost interest. I tried going back a few years ago. I lost interest in a week. And with the follow-up, quit EVE after I realized for every 30 minutes of fun gameplay, I was spending like 5 hours watching a really nice screensaver as I jumped between systems. I played solo low-sec pirating, the funnest, big corp battles, space trucker, tried the mining grind. Eventually, I just got tired of the time sink, needed to do almost anything. It really started feeling like a second job. Yeah, that's what happens with, these kind of style of live service games. MMOs, you're absolutely right, Henrik. Let's go into the second to last comment. Overwatch. Yeah, I mean, this has been a resounding yes all year long. Beta and early days were so fun because no one knew how to play and everyone was overpowered but fun. Then ranked came, then the content drought came, then Overwatch 2 came, and then that was the last straw. With the follow-up, games are so much fun when nobody has figured out the meta and everybody just plays for the fun of testing stuff out. The honeymoon period with Overwatch was probably the most fun I've ever had in gaming. It's funny how we were always kind of talking about that, especially at the top of the show where like people are later on going to go on YouTube and check out, a build to just bring into like Elden Ring, for example, or Path of Exile 2. That's the same shit I'm seeing with Marvel Rivals. Like more and more videos I keep seeing. That's how it's going
to be with these games, unfortunately.
It's kind of ruining the fun for me in a sense because I'm starting to feel that when I'm gaming.
What happened with me with Overwatch in that sense is I played a lot of off-meta characters, as you can call them, and when you're trying to solo queue ranked and you're playing an off-meta character and you get into a lobby with someone who is a yapper, you can call them that, and they see you're playing an off-meta character, they're just gonna yap at you and yell at you until you switch off that character. And if you don't do well as that off-meta character, they're just gonna call you garbage.
Yeah,
If
we're probably going to see
anything,
some of that going into the new year
if
with
even
Marvel's
that, they
Rivals,
might just
right?
call you a slur.
Yeah, you sus. No, just kidding. No, it'd be worse than that. Also,
Yeah.
we got No Man's Sky. I am a day one player. One day I realized I did everything the game offered, and the game became more about building bases than space exploration. I stopped playing. I sometimes go back into the game in the VR mode to have fun with other players for an hour, and a follow-up came in. I remember the exact moment I quit No Man's Skies. I've been waiting for 3 hours to find an S+ ship at a specific area on a specific planet. I would reset the game after every failed attempt. Frustrated, I got up to use the restroom when I had the realization that I spent the better part of my day waiting for a toy to appear in a game I had already gotten bored playing. I went back and closed out of the game. I haven't touched it since. Without story or something to drive the gameplay, I couldn't maintain the illusion of caring for any longer. And yeah, I think that's kind of the effects of like X Defiant, right? Like, I mean, it's really hard to encourage people to want to like buy into your battle pass. So I think, not offering more free maps, not offering, more free items. I wonder if that's gonna potentially be a problem for, again, Marvel Rivals at one point. I mean, I thought was very strong of them to release a 33 Marvel character roster and even more promises of more free characters to come. But, do you ever feel like there's going to be a point where they're going to ditch that model and just say, screw you all, Thanos is here, $15?
I mean, they might, but I know that the second that happens, people are going to revolt and probably not want to play the game, because that's exactly what Overwatch does.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, Henrik. But like, what game did you dump thousands of hours into only to quit one day after realizing you're just too good at being terrible at it?
Well, like I was alluding to, I'll go and elaborate a little further on the WoW side of things. So I quit WoW after the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, which was the second expansion. After that was done, I was like, you know what? I don't like the direction this game is going in. I'm just going to not play it, because why would I pay a monthly subscription to stay with something that I'm not enjoying, right?
Yeah,
Well,
what about
nowadays,
this one?
I don't even want to play it in the first place. It's just so much of a time sink. Oh, after Cataclysm? Yeah.
Yeah, did you feel that as well, Henrik?
Cataclysm was the expansion right after the Wrath of the Lich King, so I left right before he left.
What the irony,
Aquaman
you guys,
Gaming.
it was around the same time, and it was like, enough is enough. I guess I'm going to join Diablo.
And hey, now what I do is I will watch a couple streamers play WoW, and I'll live vicariously through them, because I'm not spending my entire day playing the game.
Yeah.
I'll just watch a little brief summary, essentially, of them playing the game.
Yeah, check in every 72 hours.
Yeah.
This one, wow, I can't believe I'm even saying this, because it used to be one of my favorite games for the last couple of years. But I gotta say it, it's gotta be Fall Guys. I used to be the biggest fanatic for the longest time, racking in like tons of wins. It's got solid gameplay. It was such a great game. Yeah, exactly. It's such a great game. It could still be fun, but now it feels like it's been hijacked by a creative committee. They really wanted to introduce the whole creative mode, and then once it became a free-to-play game, which I'm glad it was introduced to a wider variety of gamers, but overall it really tarnished the whole experience, because then that introduced a whole new currency system that's as confusing as a toddler with a credit card. So like, I'd never understood that, and like, they stopped adding to the crown rank. That was like, okay, now I don't feel like, what's the point of playing any further? And then on top of it, you got crowns and shards that are like Monopoly money, man. It pisses me off. And so like, it's so worthless unless you want to actually spend actual money. And it just, that's what irks me the most. And I was having such a fun time with it. And, maybe if like the younglings are coming around, my cousins or whatever, and we want to play kind of like a fun kind of party, like Mario Party kind of style of game, that will always be like one of the first games that I think about. But like, religiously going back to it once a week. It's long gone. I'm so sad to see that. And I see it being a part of the Fortnite experience. I try to jump in every once in a while. It's like, it's not the same. It just sucks, Like I used to think I was one with the beans, and now I'm not. But I want to know from you, the gamers, what is something that you poured thousands of hours into, only to just like click like a light switch and be like, you know what? What the hell am I doing? I don't even want to play this anymore. Let us know what's good. But hey, man, we've had such a great time, and we can't thank you, the gamers, enough for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your guys' supports and girls, this show would not be possible. So we want to take a moment during this time. If you haven't liked, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That is my QR code to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and go ahead and scan that QR code right there on your screen. It'll lead you to my YouTube channel, so go check it out. You'll find great content from a variety of genres. So go leave a comment, and I'll respond to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're definitely going to want to subscribe, because we're going to be off for a couple of weeks, clearly, because Christmas is around the corner and New Year's Day is is approaching. So,
yeah, but we got big things planned for the new year, guys.
It's so funny that you said that. It always sounds like those local bands that are like getting ready to premiere their very first single, and we're like, yeah, we got a big plan for y'all. Stick around in the new year. Well, we do. We definitely got something cooking up for y'all. We're very, very excited to introduce it to the masses. So, you definitely got to be subscribed to our social media accounts to be everything in the loop when it comes to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So thank you again, and be safe during your New Year's Eve party, and also enjoy yourself with your loved ones during your holiday break. We will see you in
enjoy
the
some
new
games
year.
With your loved ones.
Oh
as well.
my gosh.
Why not?
I will be very salty if I don't see a video game under the Christmas tree this year. So you still got time to make that happen. All right, gamers. Peace.
All right, see ya.